Texas Tech, I thought, did an incredible job. I mean, they controlled the game from the tip, and we need to be better. We need to be ready, and that's on us as coaches to be able to really have our team prepared. And I'm disappointed in a variety of things. Obviously, the rebounding, our fouling, and yes, you have to credit them. They've got a great basketball team, and at the same time, I'm really disappointed in myself and in us for just not having us ready.
I wanted to start off asking about Vivian Bray and her performance. What was maybe the most difficult thing about trying to slow her down tonight, and just how difficult did she in particular make them to defend?
You know, she's obviously a phenomenal player, and she's averaging about the same number of shot attempts as she got. I think part of it, we lost her in the first half, but we still made her work a little bit more. In the second half, it's going to be real interesting to go back and look. I don't think we helped when we needed to help. She, got a couple mismatches sometimes, and so we've got to be able to help there. But I know she's a great player, and you can't foul her 8 times. You can't put her on the free throw line as many times. And we got to know where she is. Clearly we have to do a much better job defensively, period. But it definitely on their key players.
Appreciate it, Jennie.
Yeah, Jennie, you guys have had a number of comebacks, obviously, this season, but this was another game where you kind of got behind the 8 ball early on. It seemed like fighting an uphill battle kind of throughout, even though you came back and took the lead at one point. Did you guys just kind of feel like you were fighting it throughout after kind of that slow start?
That's a really good question. I think, it's unfortunate that we started so slow, but again, it's not even about what the scoreboard says. We didn't have the momentum we needed to have. We didn't have the fire that we've been having. We didn't have the competitiveness. We didn't have the let's go get the ball and rebound. And so to me, this is gut check time of, are we going to get that? Are we going to be the team that has that? Or not, because we didn't, and Texas Tech did. So those loose balls that maybe don't put us so far behind, we can get those. We get those, and it's a different game. We play with that kind of energy, it's a different game. So I feel like maybe to your point, maybe it felt that way, but it didn't have to be so hard, and I think at the same time we needed to play harder.
Jennie, the last couple of games, you guys, to me, lost your defensive presence. You guys were a pretty good defensive team, scrambling, coming back, getting the ball loose, scrambling for it. The last couple of games, you've had players, go off on big games, and it seems like players do that. I know Gray's really good. I've watched her for a long time. But, they had 2 other players that got over 20 points against you.
Yep.
I'm curious where you think your team is defensively at this point and what you think about it right now.
Yeah, if you're thinking about the last 2 games, you're 100% right, especially. And I think there have been some other games. I think some players have, you even take West Virginia, and they were very good. And there were some areas we needed to be better defensively. And some of their players that don't characteristically make plays made plays. Texas did what Texas does. Texas Tech does what Texas Tech does. And so we need to be better, and we can be better. So defensively, I think we've got to get back to team defense. We've got to get back to rebounding the basketball. We've got to get back to those 50-50 balls. That's where my kind of disappointment is. Now, the other thing is our turnovers are creating points for those teams. So in those games. So that's where we've got to be able to adjust. And conversely, we've done a pretty good job this year of creating turnovers and converting those to points. We didn't go to the rim as much as we needed to really until the end of the game. And so and most of that's free throws. Credit Texas Tech to go 20 for 22 in the fourth quarter. That's incredible. So from that standpoint, hats off to them. But from our standpoint, we have some decisions we've got to be able to make. We've got to be able to keep people on the floor. We've got to be able to get rebounds, and we've got to stop fouling on them. And I think if we can do those things, and conversely, we can get a few more offensive rebounds, I think we can really get back in business.
Thanks, Jennie.
Baranczyk.
Hi, Coach. Your free throw numbers, in the first half, I think you had 9, and then the second half, you more than doubled that. I know you had a lot of games that were trying to foul to extend the game, but I'm just curious what you thought about your team's aggressiveness on defense and causing some of these fouls.
Well, we didn't start fouling till the end, till the last little bit. And I know there were quite a few opportunities there, but we're putting people way too much on the line. And we've got to be able to, and we are fouling. So we can, be disappointed all we want, but we are, and we've got to be able to clean that up. So we've got to coach better. We've got to teach better to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in that position. But when we're more aggressive, we're a heck of a lot better. Our fouls aren't because we're aggressive. Our fouls are because they've made a play and we're frustrated and we foul. So that's an area I think that we can really work on to improve. The fortunate part of that is it can improve fairly quickly if we're ready to do it. So that's something that we've got to, the rebounding and the fouling, I feel like are going hand in hand right now.
Thank you.
And Nick Moa.
Coach, in your opening statement, you mentioned just you put on yourself how you just didn't have this team well prepared enough to go into this game. Obviously, next game you guys play Ohio State, number 16 in the country. It's a big game for you guys. Was it a case of just you guys were just looking ahead to that game so much that you kind of were sleepwalking into this one, where you guys just kind of just lacked energy and were not great on defense and rebounding?
I sure hope not. I mean, I know we weren't worried about it. We weren't worried about the next game. I don't know if our team was or not, but you can't ever do that. And if we were, that's even more disappointing because obviously every team in our league is a very good basketball team, but we got to get present and stay focused and get better. We've got to just look in the mirror and start to get a little bit better. So we've got some decisions that we can make. And if we do, we're a pretty good basketball team. If we continue to do what we're doing right now, we got a bit of a long road.
Is there anything else for Coach or Skylar?
For Skylar, if that's okay.
Sure. Go for it.
Skylar, just talk a little bit about, just as a team, what do you guys have to do to regroup after these past 2 games and just prepare for what will be a tough game on Saturday?
I think we just really have to come together. I mean, we've had 2 really tough losses this past week, so I think just kind of letting that go and not let it carry on, because if we allow that, then we might not get the outcome we want. But if we kind of just do what we need to do, like what we haven't been doing, we should be able to do what we do all the time.
Thank you, Sky.
Yep, no problem.
And then Nick.
A question for Skylar. It's the same question I asked, or around the same question I asked Coach. Just on the players' end and on the floor, you guys got for playing. Did you kind of feel just throughout the team that you guys just didn't have that much energy, or weren't kind of prepared enough, as Jennie said, and it kind of led to you to this performance tonight?
I feel like we were prepared. Like we were just focused kind of on that game. On energy, I think we had spurts. I don't think it was very consistent tonight, and that's kind of why we had our leads and then we lost them, and then kind of at the end of the game, those sparks just completely were gone.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.